Okay, Jazz. First step out of the blocks. First thing I want to point out is that you've got the elbows bent here, and we want those to be straight. Just lock out the arm and line the shoulders up directly over the hands. As you come out, got a bit of a high swing here. This step comes up and over the calf, which is too high. We want that thing to come right through the sock and possibly up the line of the opposite shin, but you come up and over, so it's cycling a little bit. As you come off the ground, you don't get a perfect line. You get a nice extension here, but you're a little bit bent forward here, and your knee hasn't really your shin hasn't lined up yet. In the next frame, as you just lose contact with the ground, that's a line. Shin is lined up well. Your hand, as you come out, is above the head. I like that. Although I think it's a little bit ahead of the knee. The shin, the knee angle, opens up a little bit on this frame and then tries to come a little bit back, but you don't get a lot of backward motion. Look at the front leg. You have to get it there. You're already off the ground. You have to get it there, and then it just sort of drops. You can see this is the knee opening up, and it just sort of drops, and now you have to apply force down to try to get yourself to move forward. You're applying force there. Can't see what the full extension is there, but it looks pretty good with a pretty good shin angle. The hand could be up higher than the head there. And then the knee angle opens up toward the ground, but also has some backward angle to it, so that's pretty good. The foot is under the hip generally there. And you can see the swing of this step is by the sock. So a much lower swing because you have to do it. You're not thinking about it here. You didn't get quite enough push out on this step to make yourself happy. You want to get moving, so you take a little more time and that leg swings through lower. Let's see what happens on the third swing. That's up by the knee. That's higher than we want it, but relatively acceptable. There's extension off the ground, and that's a decent little line. Shin is in good position. The hand should probably be up at the top of the head at that point. Looking at the knee angle here, opens at this point, and then comes down and back. Into the fourth step now. Up by the knee on the swing. Pretty good extension, not complete extension here. And then that looks like it might be a little flat on the fourth contact there. It's close to being flat. Got to be careful of that. The fifth one is on the ball of the foot. Sixth. These are all looking much more flat than they should be. You should be sprinting here. If I filmed you doing just a regular sprint out of the blocks with no hurdle, we would not see these foot contacts. This is your seventh stride, and we know this one's going to be flat because we see that the toe is lining up above the heel prior to the contact. And then you hit just about flat there. As you swing into the cut step, it gets a little bit away, which is going to block it, and lands flat. So we've got the last four strides. That's almost flat. Flat, flattish, flat, and flat. If you were sprinting, you would not consider this very fast if you were hitting flat foot contacts coming down. And yet, setting up for the hurdle, you allow it, and we have to get away from that. If you really push enough, you wouldn't be able to do this. You'd have to be cutting these strides down, just tapping the toes almost to get through there. Move into the hurdle and you're above it because you end up actually probably a little bit close. There's the contact on the lead leg. Hard to say where that trail leg is. Definitely not diagonal back. Looking at the chest, seems like you hold a little bit of forward position as you go to that, and I like that.